This session is a session on YC founders. So raise your hand if you heard of YC or Y Combinator. Awesome, awesome, cool. I see a lot of folks in this room have raised their hands. Now, you may have not heard of a YC company, or you may not have heard of Y Combinator, but you may have heard of a Y Combinator company, like Airbnb. Who's heard of Airbnb? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. If you've heard of them, yeah? Airbnb, Crunchbase, Rippling, more DoorDash. Awesome. So the thing about Y Combinator companies is they've been around for 20 years, and they have the highest rate of any of unicorns than any other accelerator. And it's pretty incredible what they've done. They have a process that has been shown to work, and they have many more unicorns about to make their exits, such as Stripe, which is valued at over $60 billion last time I checked, Scale AI, $10 billion, and the list goes on. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce our moderator for the YC session. And so she is a recent transplant from the East Coast. She has a background in B2B SaaS and health tech. And most recently, she was an executive at SAP, where she led the scale-up program for growth stage companies. She is an investor, and she moonlights as a fractional CXO. Let's give a warm round of applause for Ruma Samdani.
Thank you so much for the warm intro. I see the founders in the room, so I'm going to ask them to all maybe come up to the front, because we're going to have a quick lightning round. So guys, just make your way to the front. We're going to have a quick lightning round, and we are going to start. We have 5 exciting Y Combinator companies. So they will have, the format is that they're going to have 5 minutes. They're going to have a clicker. We're going to time them. You can ask them and approach them after the presentation. So they're just going to go back to back. And we can, once we open up the networking sessions, that's when you can approach them. So with that, Prachi, if you're ready. Big round of applause, guys.
All right, guys. Hey, everybody. My name is Prachi. I'm from LightScreen AI. LightScreen AI is building uncheatable text screens using a AI voice agent, making it possible for high-growth startups like Tenor and Sybil to identify high-potential, genuinely skilled candidates from their pipeline. So the reason we work on this is both my co-founder and I basically had this problem ourselves at our previous jobs. Both me and Gavin worked at Google. That's where we met maybe a decade ago. This building did not exist then. And since then, both of us went to different AI-related startups and built out teams. So Gavin worked at 2 different engineering companies and built out the engineering teams there. I was previously at Assembly AI, which built state-of-the-art speech transcription products and built out the growth and web teams there. And one thing that I think a lot of people maybe don't realize unless they are actively hiring engineers right now in this space is that engineering hiring has completely changed with the advent of ChatGPT. It already was very broken before ChatGPT, I would say, but especially after that, it's become a really painful problem. I read online that 30% of candidates are estimated to cheat on their first technical screens today. When I talk to my customers, hiring managers, they say it's more like 60%. And when you have that many of your candidates using ChatGPT on the side or something like that to help with their interviews, it actually causes a lot of downstream effects because your engineers are actually spending more time interviewing candidates that they shouldn't be interviewing, and you're spending a lot more time on the wrong people, and you're underinvesting in the candidates that are actually excellent for your company and your job. So we realized that we could actually solve for both the cheating problem and the historical problems with hiring that have been existing for a long time with AI. So in terms of the older problems, engineers spend most of their time interviewing people that aren't going to get the job. It's very inefficient. Resumes are hard to parse through. Yeah, the obvious stuff that's been there for ages. I won't go through this whole interview here, but we basically built a voice agent that does a text screen with the candidate. It's a 45-minute, really customizable text screen. And basically, the joy of having an AI doing your voice your interview is that it's actually analyzing signals throughout the call to identify cheating, and also to understand communication skills, technical competency and problem-solving skills through the interview. After each interview, we provide the hiring manager with a really detailed report about the candidate. No more waiting multiple days to get your engineer to actually write out their feedback. You get feedback that's really detailed based on the rubric within a few minutes of the interview. And so again, if your candidate is amazing, you can get back to them really fast. And if your candidate cheated, this is where we would flag cheating, or just wasn't very good, you can move on quickly as well.
So is it the point is that it eliminates bias as well and things?
It limits bias because the rubric is, the evaluation is being done based on a rubric. The company can set the rubric, or we have a standard rubric that we've set ourselves. It also, it's very hard to cheat on because of all the signals that we're using. I wouldn't say it's 100% uncheatable, but very hard to cheat on. And it saves time for the companies, right? You can do your initial tech screen with a lot more data than you would previously without having to have your engineering team involved. So multiple problems it's solving for, which are what I have here. So yeah, human interviews cost over $300 an hour for engineers to actually do the interviews. Our screen costs $40. 30% of candidates cheat on interviews. This one is very hard to cheat. Interviewers have limited time, and this one, the candidate can do it on their own time. And doesn't cost you any time at all, and you get feedback immediately. And just so you know, we launched this product just 2.5 weeks ago. We already have 7 companies using us today. I think that really is a testament to just how painful this problem is for hiring managers right now. If you are interested in seeing a more longer form demo or trying out the product yourself, please reach out to me. You can reach out with this QR code or at LightScreen AI/business to just book time with me, or that's my email. That's me. Thank you so much. That's LightScreen.
Thank you, Prachi. Take a round of applause. Thank you. So next we have Levi.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Levi, co-founder and CEO of Raycaster. At Raycaster, we are a research co-pilot for the enterprise, starting from enterprise sales. I know a lot of you at Google, or because we are in this space here, might be engineers more on the technical side. So we just want to do a quick show of hand. And how many of you know, or have been involved in this sales process? Okay, yeah, a very decent amount of people. So maybe the example will really resonate. When you're selling kind of the $20 per month, whatever software, right? You're probably seeing these emails or spam calls, the typical spray and pray approach, which is not personalized, sometimes pretty off-putting. But if you're doing enterprise sales, this is probably image that appears in your head, right? Something that's more professional, more personalized, and you really want to focus on the personal touch points. And that's what we do. A lot of clients of us want to find specific company info, whether it's a company that sells to biotech or pharma, try to understand what bioreactor model their prospects use, or what specific cell culture type their prospects use. Or it could be as specific as what type of search API is it under the hoods? Is it Algolia or something else? And what about chat provider, right? Are they using Zendesk or Intercom? And all these specific detailed questions, our research agent is able to answer. Basically, our research agent kicks off once you know what accounts you want to target, and we're able to find specific details that matters only to your business, so that your salespeople, when they reach out or get on the call, they're able to mention these things that really impress the prospects and make them feel like you understood their business. So if you want to talk to me, come to me afterwards, or founders@raycaster.com, or book a demo. Yeah, really looking forward to hearing from you.
All right, thank you, Levi. Big round of applause. So music and audio was, in hindsight, a great idea, but I think once we were in the room, it has a mind of its own. All right, so next we have Hunter. Hunter, take it away.
Hey there. I'm Hunter. I'm the founder of Regatta Storage. I did not bring a video with awesome music, so I'm sorry about that. I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes trying to convince you that all of these engineering teams are out there spending billions of dollars on cloud storage systems that don't actually meet their needs. Now, this is a bold claim, so why should you listen to me? I've spent the past 10 years building at-scale cloud storage solutions, leading product and engineering teams at Amazon's Elastic File System and on Netflix's cloud storage team. And during that time, I worked with thousands of application developers to really understand how they use storage and what they were actually trying to accomplish. So let's look at a vastly simplified architecture diagram for how almost all applications work. And we're at an AI event, so let's imagine that you're doing model training. Generally, you would take your petabytes of data that you're going to be doing training on, and you would put them somewhere where it's inexpensive to store, like S3. And then you would launch a cluster of instances, very expensive instances, attached to GPUs. And on those instances, you would add local storage. And that local storage is much faster than S3, but it's also very expensive. And the problem with this is that in order to get your data into your training modules, you have to download it first. And that takes time. So all of these AI and analytics applications are spending time waiting for the data to come over. And the problem actually gets worse, which is that local disks, you provision them. So you pay for the amount of space on these disks that you request, not the amount of space that you actually use. And when you look out at how customers are using these disks, on average, people are only using 20% of the space that they're buying. Because, I mean, this is a simple optimization problem. If you buy too little, your application crashes. If you buy too much, you're spending money, and everyone is spending money. So, what would be a better solution for what these applications are trying to do? What if there were a layer that sat in between your expensive instances and your low-cost storage that accelerated access to that storage without you having to wait to download the entire thing? And what if that layer only charged customers for the amount of data that they were actively using so that they could spin up a GPU cluster and run a high-performance analytics job, pay for it, spin down the cluster, and not have to worry about data management, have it all flow back to the cheap storage? That's what we're building at Regatta. So what we are trying to accomplish is something that is really a no-brainer for these enterprises to adopt. Compared to existing solutions, it is faster than using S3 directly. It is cheaper than using local disks because you're only charged for what you use. And it is easier to manage than many of the streaming pipelines or complex data management that teams are forced to do today. The best part of this is when we talk about these products like EFS, EBS, I know we're at Google, so like hyperdisk, file store, these products, it would be easy to build a product where customers need to rewrite their applications to use our storage system. We're a drop-in replacement for what people are using today. So engineering teams can take advantage of something that's faster, cheaper, and easier without having to do any work. That is Regatta Storage, and you can try us today at regattastorage.com. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hunter. Okay, up next, we have Shu. Take it away.
Cool. Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Shu. So I'm here with HYBRD, co-founder of HYBRD, and I'm not going to talk to you about B2B AI SaaS. I'm a consumer business. So what we are is we are Strava for elite athletes, people that do more than just cardio. So we help hybrid athletes track, manage, and optimize their training. And a hybrid athlete is somebody that does both strength and cardio. And in today's world, these athletes that do both, their data is very fragmented. I don't know if many of you wear wearables like Apple Watch, Oura Ring, Fitbit. Your data is kind of everywhere. There's different applications, some that are really oriented on strength, and then some that are really oriented just for cardio. So it's really hard to actually understand your holistic performance and like the whole training load on your body because that data is fragmented. And there's not many applications that actually fit in that center space. And most applications actually tend to focus on early stage fitness. So if you actually think about athletes as a distribution of like more serious athletes on the right to less serious athletes on the left, a lot of existing products sit here, right? Because it's bigger. However, there's some challenges. Not only do you have to get people to track their workouts, you actually have to get people to work out in the first place. But where we are is we're sitting here with more serious athletes. People are already tracking the workouts with all these variety of applications and wearables, but they're also continuously working out. But there's no solution for them to get all of that data in one place. And this market, it actually is really large itself. So to put that into context, there's 4 million CrossFit athletes competing in CrossFit games. Peloton has 4 million subscribers. And Strava has 120 million users. So I don't know if many have heard of Strava, but it's a big social platform with some training features, I'd say. But 3 million of those are paid. And Peloton and Strava also are really focused on cardio as opposed to cardio and strength. So this problem is felt by many different people. Myself, I'm one of them, as well as my co-founders. We're all hybrid athletes ourselves. So this is my founding team. There's 4 of us. We come from a background mostly from Whoop, which is like a fitness wearable. So we have a lot of experience in the space. And we train this way. So we've done half Ironmans. We've had national rugby team, national rowing team. And we're training for High Rocks, which is like a CrossFit-like competition. So we're building the product that we wish we had for ourselves and our training. And actually, so bring it to what we're actually building. So we're a fitness app. And firstly, what we're doing is we're putting all of that data in one place. So we ingest all the data from wearables so we can actually understand holistic training load. So in this GIF, it's just explaining that there's many different types of workouts, whether it's a run, a CrossFit, anything, just a regular lift, like anything that you're doing. But so wearables is one place to get data, but another big problem is people logging from lifting or CrossFit. These are more complicated workout styles. And it can take a really long time to actually log your workouts, understand your weight, your reps, et cetera. So what we've done in this age of AI is actually simplified the way that you can log data by simply snapping a picture. So I'm not sure if many are familiar, but in a CrossFit style class, they usually write the workout on the whiteboard. And you can actually just snap a picture of that and we'll log it in less than 30 seconds. So before you might have to write on pen and paper, like in other different apps, really log step by step what you were doing. Now you can just snap a picture. You can also do voice to text and just simply log it. So really reducing that time. And actually something that we know too is about 50% of people that lift, they just like to use pen and paper. So, which, that's great. But then they can just snap a picture of that and actually have that. And so by reducing this friction, people are more likely to log their workouts and get that holistic view. And so that's really important. So what we've done is, this is what we're showing here is a score that we provide. It's comprised of some cardio aspects and some strength aspects, but it's normalized for your demographic. So for your age, gender, and weight. And so what we're showing here is like my score on the left. So myself as a female can be compared directly with my male co-founder. I am winning. And so, but like him, for example, he's really like weak in the lift, but he's really, really fast in cardio style. But this allows training to be more fun and more competitive, and it really plays that competitive nature that athletes have. So you can put this in context with your training. So we're really excited about what we're building. And honestly, if this sounds like a way that you train, would love to chat. If you have colleagues, friends that train this way, I would also love to chat. We are on test flight, we're invite only, but you can scan this to apply to be a member or contact me. Additionally, we are gonna start fundraising. So if you know investors in the consumer space specifically, would also be happy to connect. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Shu. All right, last but not the least, Albert.
Thank you. So I'm also one of the other YC companies that isn't necessarily using AI directly, just like Regatta Storage here. But we are building infrastructure that does help with this new AI revolution. So we help software vendors deploy their SaaS into on-prem environments. My co-founder and I, we formerly worked at Palantir, where we did a ton of on-prem environments, a bit over 300 customers that we shipped Palantir software to via on-prem. So what I mean by on-prem, it's a bit of a misnomer. I'm talking about modern on-prem, which really just means deploying into a customer cloud account. So like AWS, GCP, Azure. I honestly hate the fact that people use this. It really should be like on VPC or on cloud. But yeah, we're helping software vendors deploy their software into customer cloud accounts. So what does it actually look like to deploy something on-prem? Normally, your software, it's built inside of your cloud. You own it. You serve a bunch of customers. It's multi-tenant. And what people usually do when they deploy on-prem is they just copy that software over into the customer's cloud account, and they tell the team over there to do it. So that's how it looks. Simply, it's just really putting the software inside of the customer's cloud account. Why would an enterprise, presumably a customer of a startup that needs to deploy on-prem, want it to even run on-prem in the first place? Security is the simple answer. Enterprises have tons of sensitive data. They don't want to ship that over to a multi-tenant stack that lives in some other cloud accounts. They want to keep that all secure in their environment. They want all software to run inside of their environment. So why should software vendors even cater to these kinds of customers? It's very difficult to try and deploy on-prem normally compared to just managing your software inside of your own environment. Money. You can usually charge 3 to 10 times more for these on-prem contracts compared to selling a contract for a customer that works off of your multi-tenant environment. Deploying on-prem also helps reduce risk for startups. If your customer's data lives within your cloud and you get hacked, you also run the risk of exposing that and facing a lawsuit. Say we've got like a developer here at your startup building your product. You've got a couple customers, you've shipped your product over there into their cloud environment, and your engineer ships a new upgrade. You were running like software version blue, now it's software version orange. How do we get that over to their environment? Today, you pretty much like hand over a Docker image or your code over to DevOps engineers that work at your customer's company. And then you wait like 4 to 6 weeks for them to actually roll that out. And now we've got software blue up there. This other customer still never got around to it. They're still running orange, and your engineer just pushed pink. So why does that happen? DevOps just has a lot of other priorities, and they're just not necessarily going to prioritize upgrading your software to the latest version right away, as soon as you want them to. So what else can also happen in these situations where you've just handed over your software to the DevOps team? Shit will probably break without you knowing, because you're not monitoring or looking at logs from that system. So when that happens, your end users will be pissed. They're probably not DevOps. They'll send you an angry email, and your developer is going to be confused as how to even debug the whole system, because it was running software blue and they're working on software pink, and software blue was out there like 4 to 6 weeks ago. So the code base looks very different. And then your other DevOps engineer is still asleep, not upgrading your software at all. And what does debugging in the situation even look like? You don't have access to logs. You don't have access to health metrics. You really have access to nothing. You're oftentimes debugging over email and Slack. So what we're building at Ryvn is the solution to all of these problems while still unlocking all of that value for startups with on-prem contracts. Okay, it's like a dark mode application, so it doesn't look great on the projection here. So what it looks like for a user who's using Ryvn to deploy and shift software, we've got a multi-tenant prod environment here that serves most of your customers. It lives inside of your cloud. And when you want to ship software upgrades over to the on-prem environments, those are all wired up inside of Ryvn in a safe and compliant manner. Very similar to how we did it at Palantir to make it safe and compliant to ship software on-prem. And it's as easy as like clicking a button to ship a new upgrade over. You don't have to depend on a DevOps or infra team at all to roll out your releases. And when you want to add a new customer to your software stack, you want to ship to them too, you just click on a deploy to new environment button. There's some other stuff that happens to wire them up to Ryvn. But once you do, it's really easy to just drop them in, and Ryvn takes care of actually installing that on their end for them and making that accessible. So why is this important in the AI age that we see coming up? A lot of agents are looking at very, very sensitive stores of data now that we haven't historically built applications for. So we're seeing folks look at Jira tickets, Notion, Slack, email, that holds a ton of IP for enterprises. And if one of those gets hacked, basically any information that your company uses or holds in a data store could probably make use of AI in some way, and that'll expose you to if your software is out living inside of these AI vendors' clouds, it massively increases the number of threat vectors that exist for someone trying to compromise your system. So that's why we think it's going to be great. And if you guys want to check out what we're doing, we have a website up. This will take you to it. You can email me at albert@ryvn.ai. That little logo is an R.
Thank you so much, Albert. Big round of applause. So I was a little bummed that your last video didn't have any sound. We didn't wake up. Again, a big round of applause for Prachi, Levi, Hunter, Shu, and Albert. And